Last summer I spent the weekend at my dacha as usual. My wife and child were visiting her parents, so no one else was with me. I find pleasure in the country house alone, and there is enough work to do there. During the day I watered the plants and did other things while listening to the radio. And in the evening, as I was soaking in the sun, I fell asleep as soon as I lay down on the sofa, and I woke up in the night to someone knocking on the door. Really knocking. I sat down on the couch, but I didn't dare to answer right away. I didn't like the fact that someone had come in the middle of the night. I didn't want to open the door. I didn't know who was behind it. I thought that maybe something happened to the neighbors. There was a lonely pensioner's house not far from my property, and she sometimes has health problems. And the doctor was called when she had a heart attack. Thinking about her, I went to the front door, but suddenly there was a knock on the window behind me. I turned around, but saw no one behind it, though the summer darkness was not deep. I could see if there was someone outside the window, but there was no one in sight. And there was a knock, a frightening knock. It scared me. I remembered the mystical tales of poltergeists, and I kept quiet, waiting for something else. But everything went silent. There was no more knocking on the window or the door. It was all over. No one came in the morning with any local news either. Later, sometime in the middle of August, when I came to the dacha again, I met a friend who decided to go fishing on a rubber boat. I came for a swim. The weather was warm. This acquaintance also has a house here, but on the very last line, far away from me. That's why we hardly ever see each other. We got to talking and he told me an interesting story. Next to him there is a large dacha plot. In fact, it's 2 plots of land joined together. It's a big area. The owner of this plot is some private dentist. He has a house there, a new bathhouse, a small swimming pool, and he's got a tall, thick oak tree by his fence. And in June, the same month when someone knocked on my door, this man came out in the morning into the yard, and his tree is lying behind the fence along the road in front of the gate. He can't understand a thing, and it is lying there, uprooted, and the fence is intact, as if the tree had been carried over it and put on the ground. The owner had to find a chainsaw and saw this oak tree to get it out of the way. It's unclear who did it. Yes, and the night before was quiet. No hurricane. But something anomalous must have been going on that night. Some force was walking around the village and knocked on my door and slowly pulled the oak tree from its roots, and yet remained an invisible force. Who were they? Demons? Maybe the poltergeists really did a little mischief at that time. They tore out the oak tree and knocked so modestly on the door and window. Maybe there was no strength left. They were exhausted on the oak tree. Or maybe some people tore it out and others knocked on it. But it was definitely something evil, not human.